What it do, what it is. Fellow washers. Put some batteries in my Surefire here. We had a silly salmon yesterday. We had ourselves a silly salmon. Now, you guys, you got to watch out for this. This happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And when it happens, you have to know how to deal with it. And there's 2 ways you can deal with it. I'm going to show you a photo here in just a second that I've sent to my iPad. So what happened was, we've got it set up on my website that homeowners can enter a quote request on the web page for wash services. So this dude, I get them multiple times a week. It'll just be a notification, and it'll come from the web page, and it'll say there's a little box they can fill out with their name, phone number, address, and a brief description of what they want. Dude says, looking to get my roof cleaned on my house and possibly a side auxiliary building. He gave the dimensions on the building. I think it was a pretty good sized building, like 50 by 60 or something. And the roof cleaning, and he said it's a 1-story house. Okay, well, the address is way outside of our operational area. My SEO, it pings pretty far out, and I want it to because of the equipment stuff. But the side part of that is we get pings from homeowners that are pretty far out. We can't go there. But what I'll usually do is, we've got so many guys we've worked with and trained and equipment and networked with that I'll generally know a guy in the area or close enough. And so I knew a guy that was pretty close. He's got a skid from us, Mr. Spinks. SpinksPro.com. I think that's his. It's Spinks Pro, but I don't know if he's got a website. But go check his YouTube channel out. Spinks Pro Services. I believe that's his business name. It's like the letter pink with an S on both ends. That's the way he says it in the video. And I texted him. I was like, "Hey, brother, how far are you from this address? I've got a lead for you." He was like, "Oh, it's like 40 minutes away." I said, "Cool, are you interested? I'll shoot you over the dude's info." He's like, "Yeah, shoot it to me." So, roger that. We send it over, and I heard back from him later yesterday afternoon. So, Chris contacts the homeowner and tries to do some, talking with him back and forth, trying to nail down what exactly he wanted. And Chris is smart. Chris does what I do. He pulls up the address on Google and sees if he can find realtor.com photos, Google images, things from when the house sold before, street view, whatever, just to get an idea of the size of the project before he takes 40 minutes and drives over there to give a quote in person. And in his investigatory process, he finds out that this is not a 1-story house. This is actually a 3-story house. I'm going to show you what the house looks like. Get the camera down here. All right, hopefully y'all can see that. We've got a floor down here up under the deck. There's a structure down, it's, I guess, a basement. And here's the main level, and then here's upstairs, right? This is a 3-story house. This is every bit as big as my house. My house is kind of laid out the same way. Let me get the camera back up. And that's not a 1-story house, okay? That's a 3-story house. What happened is, I'm pretty sure what the homeowner did is, on my website, on the wash page for services, it tells you at the bottom, if you have a 1-story, this many square feet to this many square feet, it gives them a range of what the price will be for different, house wash, roof cleaning, just kind of a ballpark range. And it says it on there. These are not absolute numbers. A lot of factors come into play. This just gives you a rough idea of what to expect. Okay. Well, Mr. Cheapskate here, the homeowner, he looks at the cheapest possible thing, and he tells me, "Oh, it's just a little 1-story house." And we get out there, Chris does his research and finds out it's a 3-story house. And it's obviously a pretty nice house, and so pretty big house. And Chris he screenshotted me their interaction, and he was like, hey, that ballpark price I gave you is going to change because I just looked at the images online, and it's not a 1-story, it's a 3-story. So I'll have to adjust the price based on those circumstances. And the homeowner came back at him kind of snarky and was like, oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. My handyman said he can do it anyway. These are people, probably older white dude, and got a little bit of money, and the way he's got his little bit of money is by trying to short everybody in his life. This is the guy that goes to a restaurant and looks for any excuse not to give a tip. This is the guy that doesn't tip, the valet guy. This is the guy that he doesn't give to his church. He's a cheapskate, right? He's made a little bit of money in his life, and he's a little bit successful, and he looks at people like us as underlings. He's got a handyman that's his handyman, and he's going to go out there and wash this roof. Okay, roger that. Good luck, buddy. He's probably going to pressure wash it. You get what you pay for, and Chris is a smart guy. He's successful, and he's not hungry and struggling for jobs to where he has to bow down to this home. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Homeowner. It's just a little 1-story house, and we'll be glad to take care of it for you. No, screw that. It's not a 1-story house. It's a 3-story house. Homeowner's lying. It's a flat out lie. It's bold-faced lie, right? So we're not doing business with that guy. Chris is not going to do business with that guy. That's just an immediate red flag. Guarantee you what's going to happen if he did do the job is he's going to come out and find something that he ain't satisfied with. Doesn't matter if it was 100% perfect or not. He's going to find something he ain't satisfied with. That's a big red flag when they're lying to you right out the gate, just right from Jump Street. They're telling tales out of school. Not a 1-story house, man. So we get a couple of these a year. Had a guy. I'll tell you one more story. Older dude, probably 60, late 50s, early 60s, called us. He lives in a town up, actually Carrollton, Georgia. Casey Hart, if you watch this video, I should have forwarded him to you, but I didn't know about you at the time, brother. It's just, for a little house wash, it's not worth it. And he calls, got my number, and said, hey, I'm in Carrollton. Do y'all service Carrollton? I said, yes, sir, we do. Okay, well, my mom's house, she's a widow. She lives alone, and it's a brick house. Her overhangs and soffit and the vinyl on the top of the gables needs to be washed. What would something like that run me? I said, a couple $100. It may even be less than that. If it's the way he described it was like a small ranch house. What he said, little 1-story house. Little old lady, his mom lives in there, and she bakes cookies, and she goes to bingo on Thursday, and I just need to get my mom's house washed. I said, well, we're pretty busy. I can schedule it. We'll come out when we can and wash it for you, and we'll do it, at a good price. Okay, that's fine. A week goes by. He calls me, hey, are y'all not going to be able to ever get up here? I said, I'm kind of biting my tongue. I told you it's going to have to be on our time frame because we're pretty far away, and you're describing a little small job, and so I'm not going to make enough profit to justify stopping a day of production on skids and equipment or whatever we're doing to drive up here to mess with your mama's little gingerbread house. Okay, so I kind of explained that to him in a nice way. We get up there about a week after that, and that morning he's on Georgia time, we're on Alabama time. We live right on the state line where the time zone splits. He thought I told him we'd be there at 10. He thought 10 Georgia time, which is 9 our time. We don't get there at 9 because we usually leave the shop at 9. Calls me, hey, where y'all at? I'm sitting here waiting on you. I said, we're on our way. We're right on schedule to be there when I told you. I'm looking at GPS, and it's dead on. Well, you're not here, and you said you'd be here now. I said, no, sir, I did not said that, because we do a lot of work in Georgia, and I've been doing this a long time. I don't make the mistake of telling them the wrong time zone. I say, we'll be there at 10 Alabama time. And the people that live on the state line, they're used to making that distinction. He just didn't hear me or wasn't listening when I told him Central time. He's thinking Eastern time. Well, he's getting kind of pissy because in his mind, we blew him off a couple times. We didn't get up there quickly, even though I explained how this was going to work. I even told him it may be better for you to find somebody more local in your area. Well, I really want y'all to do it. A friend recommended y'all. Okay, we'll be glad to do it, but it's just going to have to be when we can fit it in. Now he's pissy because we're not there on time, which we were. We got there at like 10:04. Told him, you don't really even need to be there anyway. We'll wash it. I'll send you pictures. Everything's good. You can throw a check in the mail. No, I want to be there. Okay, well then screw it, dude. If you want to be there, then you've got to work around us. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not stopping my life to go wash Mama's house. They don't get that. Okay. We show up, and dude, this house is like 3,500 square feet. It's one story, but it's tall. Like, it's got an attic or an upstairs that's not, there's no windows or anything, but it's a big roof line. Big house, 3-car garage on the side over here. It's a big old brick house. Like, it's big. And I'm like, hey, this is a little bit bigger than what we talked about on the phone. You know, this is not a little old lady's little ranch house. That's what he called it. Big wrap around driveway, horseshoe driveway in the front. Wasn't a lot of vinyl. It didn't take us that much longer to wash it than even if it would have been what he described, but it's just the principle of it. So on that one, I bit my tongue, and he caught me in a good mood that day, because typically we'll roll up them hoses and go back to the house. It doesn't matter to me. The homeowner has an obligation, the customer's got an obligation to be honest about what they're getting, and that's why I like to get pictures. Of course, this old jackass is too old to take a picture and send it to me on his phone, and it's 45 minutes away, and I couldn't find any images online, and so I just ate the bullet on that one, and we washed it and went on with life. But he did that on purpose. Did it 100% on purpose to get a little cheap, you know, I want my mama's house washed, and I'm a cheapskate, and I'm gonna have this company come out and do this work, but I'm gonna weasel it around to where I get the cheapest rate possible, and then I'm gonna make them feel obligated to honor that price. Like, he knows what he's doing, and I know what he's doing, and he knows that I know what he's doing, because I said enough to let him know, like, hey, this is way bigger than what you described. You know, it ain't the end of the world, but it is if you let them push you around all the time, and if you're not careful, you'll get in the mindset, that customer is always right mindset, and you're hungry for jobs, if you don't have a lot of work coming in, and you'll let these folks push you around. They got a little bit of money, and they look at us as the hired help. They look at us as the servants, and they can, you know, whatever they say goes, and that's not how it is, guys. Put your foot down. Don't be afraid to hold your ground, and don't do it in a mean way. You got to be professional, but hold your ground. What's the worst they can do? Leave you a bad review? You can leave a comment below that and drop the text thread and prove that it was actually them that were, you know, trying to pull one over on you. You're hardworking family man out there trying to run your business, and you got wealthy people that are trying to save $100, and they're trying to screw you. I don't even care about the $100 or whatever it would be. It's just the fact that they're trying to screw you, and I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I don't do that. My lawn guy, he charges me $50 to cut my grass. I give him 60. When we go to a restaurant, if the waitress does a good job, I usually tip them $15. I don't tip them $5. I don't tip them $10. Sometimes I tip them $20. We went to the Brazilian steakhouse the other night for our company Christmas dinner, and I tipped like $50. It's an expensive meal, ratio to meal. Tip them. These are people they're just like that, and that's how they look at us. And sorry to tell them that I'm probably making more money a year than they are, and I don't appreciate the sentiment. I don't appreciate it, and I don't like dealing with those customers. Again, they are far and few between. They're rare, so we don't have to fool with them very often. And you pick your battles, but I'm just saying, don't let them bully you around. Don't let them make you feel like you're just the hired help. And we've had homeowners they'll get upset because we'll come out and wash their house, and we're in and out of there in an hour, and they're like, well, I'm paying you $370 to wash his house, and you just did it in an hour? That's $370 an hour. Yep, it sure is, isn't it? You're really good at math. You must have stood out in school. That's good math right there. None of their business. It's nothing to them how long it takes me to do the job. We're contracted to do X job for X price, and that's the end of it. The time frame doesn't come into play at all. If we do it in an hour or 3 hours, it doesn't matter. They're not paying for my time. They're paying to get a certain job done. You're not going to penalize me or make me feel bad that we're efficient. I'm efficient because I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm efficient because I've got a 2-man crew. I'm efficient because I've got a truck that's dedicated and built to do this job. I've got a freaking truck, an F-250 that I own, that I can't do nothing else with but wash. It's designed and built just to do jobs, okay? Homeowner, do you have an F-250 with about $20,000 worth of equipment in it and set up to do this? No. If you did, you could wash your house in 45 minutes too. It's not, I'm not shysting you. I gave you a price. The job is done. You owe me a check. Doesn't matter. But that's how they look at us. They're like, they own you for a chunk of the day. And if you start falling out of that parameter, then they don't like it. Those are not the people we want to deal with. I want to deal with the homeowner that's like, man, cool. Y'all did a really good job. Y'all are really efficient. You know, that's really awesome. That's the guy I want to deal with. And fortunately, most people are that way. So just thought you'd get a kick out of that. Wanted to share that with y'all. Hope you have a good day. I'm trying to fix my dash on my Tacoma. It's weird. It's got one of the little clips that's popped out. We're going to go in here and build some wands and manifolds and ship them out today and work on some equipment. We'll check with y'all later. Deuces.